Hello!
Hello.
Hey.
And another week of successfully doing our names right. Hooray! We're like 3 weeks now. This is almost becoming habit.
Yeah.
Progress.
Well, insta death. Oh, rocks fall.
Hey, I would point out he's already killed me twice.
But you keep bouncing back.
Oh, I'm like the little ball that can. I think I can.
Well, it's funny you should say that because you've just said that I haven't screwed up, Nick. I haven't. I just realised I haven't plugged in my auxiliary mic, which means that whole intro, chances are, has not been recorded.
Good. Amazing.
So
Russell's just gone, I cannot hear Simon. He's talking but not saying things. I'm
Yep.
like, y'all, I can hear you. Oh, there you go.
So, for those of you who are on stream and just saw me not saying anything whatsoever, I didn't plug in my mic. So I've just nailed the intro for the first time and no one heard it but the players. That's terrible. Anyway, I'm gonna start again with that.
Well-oiled machine. That's
I've just muted the
We are
players,
so fucking good.
welcome everybody to Chaotic Neutral Games and our D&D 5th edition campaign, The Benefactor. I'm here with our players, Felicia, Rodrigo, Corinne, Nick, and Kate, for what is session 24, I think, of our campaign. They're in chapter 2, where the characters have lost 3 weeks of their memories whilst in an investigation for an arcane contamination within the city of Ostergard. They're now trying to piece together their memories by retracing their steps and hopefully complete the investigation or run away from it altogether. Who knows? Let's bring the players back up. See? Nailed it twice.
Good job. Good fucking job. It wasn't luck then, it was pure skill.
He's a professional, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm a professional when I plug in my damn microphone. Okay, right. So, as I've said in the introduction, you guys are now trying to piece together your memories. You've already gone to a few places to see if you can do this. In previous sessions, you visited the tavern that you all live in, gone to all your various rooms. As you did so, you found items that were in your rooms that weren't there before, things that have moved or changed, a few surprises here and there, some with assumed explanations and some with complete explanations. You've also found out through hearsay that some of you guys have done various things. You've met certain people or talked to certain people, and you've started following up some of those effects. Not only that, but each of you has got a particular item that's on you. So Glory has this beautiful set of jewelry that covers her entire hand, and it has a black, I keep saying onyx, I think it is an onyx.
No,
it's an opal.
a dark opal.
It's a dark opal, that's right, on the back of her hand, which apparently once she received that opal, she went into a strange fever where she immediately started constructing the jewelry to go with it, placing it inside and enchanting it immediately, which has also got her a familiar of a small shadow wormling. Aiden now has what seems to be, according to the players, a firearm next to his
Gun.
It is a gun.
Gun!
It's a gun.
But it's a special arcane kind of gun, which we went through before, that seems to have been made by a dwarven artificer called Bloodwind Bloodaxe. Eclipse has a lash knife, only mildly enchanted. It mostly requires skill on the behalf of the user. Tabaxi Weapon Master came into port, and Renata used the opportunity to get Eclipse trained, with a few mild enchantments, which is part of the lash knife anyway. She's now
I am on my last warning.
Yes,
I am on my last one.
You're on your last warning for trashing things with the lash knife. Renata, we'll take it away from you. Farewell, on the other hand.
Oh, it was lucky that day with the last warning, but yes.
Farewell, on the other hand, has an item that only Farewell and Cora have seen, and that is an obsidian knife that he can call at a moment. and it appears in a plume of black, smoke-like energy. Cora, on the other hand, has 2 items, one replacing a magic item that she had at the start, a music box that has since been shattered, and is now replaced with a cloak that allows her to phase through 3 items up to 5 foot per day, per long rest, effectively. And also a ring that is on her wedding finger, although she started to suspect that it wasn't always there. You've gone to Renata and repieced some of the story there, and you've also gone to the Temple of the Raven Queen, where you, 3 of you, Farewell, Eclipse, and Cora, had visions. They went through the True Restoration ritual, which is a ritual that's exclusive to Ilaria, and it connects you with the gods so that you can restore your true self. So unlike the other restoration spells, which will restore things like a poison status or something like that, this will restore your alignment, this will restore your true mind if you're influenced something other than yourself or some sort of suggestion has been placed upon you. It can even have a chance against a Gaius, although only a chance. And in the case of people where their bodies have been changed other than their identity, it restores their physical form to their true identity. So, 3 of you have had the visions. One of you, Glory, has decided to wait for her to go through the same ritual because she wants to go through it with Aiden so that he doesn't go through it alone. Currently, yes. Aiden is not with them. And as they are leaving the Raven Queen Temple, actually, you left the Raven Queen Temple and you went to the newspaper, didn't you? Because you went to see Hobra Winterscribe. You are now going around the city and you're about to be caught up with Aiden. But before that,
yes,
we need to find out...
Yes,
to discuss what was going on.
Yep. Before that time, we need to find out what Aiden was doing in the meantime. Okay?
Oh dear.
So,
I am very scared.
I have already said that if Olivia has let Aiden drink, Eclipse is gonna murder her. So.
Yeah, good luck with that.
And Eclipse will have at some point kind of somehow just sent a message to Olivia saying, "Do not let him drink."
Sure. Aiden, we're going to, Rodrigo, we are going to dial back to the moment where you guys entered the Green Mansion for the first time.
Hello.
First of all, we dialed back because of audio problems. Now we're dialing back just with you. As you entered the foyer, Olivia came up, took you by the arm. You were a little shell-shocked still, and she said to you in a half-whisper, just with lowered voice, but the others could hear, "Come, tell me everything." She takes you by the arm, and the confidence with which she does it, not like she's doing something that she hasn't done before. You're kind of taken aback by it, and you find your feet just following her momentarily, and you get to your what the fuck moment just as you turn around the corner. As you are about to undoubtedly say it, she holds a finger up to your lips and says, "Wait. Just wait a second." She mutters something under her breath and the air shimmers around you. And then she says, "Now you can react."
What the fuck?
It's what you always say. Right. Okay. So, your memories. Gone.
Yes. Poof. Not there anymore, not existent.
What's your last memory of me?
We were at the warehouse/lab thing that we had set up, and you were there, and we were looking at the goo, and we burned the goo inside a fish tank.
The rat autopsy.
Yes.
A guttural sound comes out of her mouth. You have a feeling she swore in another language. She said, "Oh, so you know nothing? Nothing about us?"
No, I don't. I don't know shit. I mean, I didn't know shit about anything beforehand, but now I also don't know shit about anything now.
God's rot. Oh. Okay. Where to start? So you and
Yeah, where to fucking start?
So you and I have been through a lot. We found
I guess.
a certain amount of common ground. I'm still, obviously, your boss.
Yeah.
Being that I'm the ranking member of the Green Organization and your contact when you're not directly reporting to Renata. But you and I have gone through a few things together. There's a similarity between us. We're not exactly the same, but that which goes through your veins. My physiology has a similar a similarity.
We're we're both. We both shouldn't be alive, shouldn't we?
Well, yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. What
Yeah,
happened to
I
me
figured.
and what happened to you that day that I let you see my scar. You didn't know where to look, but I was looking straight at your face. You were surprised. You hadn't seen it before. We've had this conversation, by the way, so you don't need to answer. I've already heard all the answers. You had never seen it before. I thought you'd undergone the same process that I had gone through. But it turns out, no, it's different. I know about the ritual. I know what happens to the canals, and I also know that you don't like me saying the name, which is why I placed this shield around us so that nobody else can hear it.
Thank you.
I also know about your mystery, and as part of you helping me, I've been helping you. So I guess I can catch you up on a few things. First of all,
Please do.
yes, your family did die in an attack. The mark that's on you seems to be part of what that attack was. You found out that much by finding out that it was related to a family and forms of necromantic and abjuration. It was a way of using your unique physiology against you. That's about as much as I've got, but we will know more in time.
That's fair. That's fair.
What other things do you need to know? No, I haven't told Renata. Yes, I've told Renata that I have a project that I am dealing with you, and that it's a personal project and that she doesn't need to fret about it. So I've told her enough to keep her off your back, as you'd put it. You've helped me. I've been attacked twice. You've been attacked once in the city for who we are.
Right. Checked by who?
We're not sure. The first two that came seemed like cultist nut jobs, the type of people that we take out on a regular basis. They seem to be some problem with the zealots. I think their mission was to look and record our movements to get intelligence on us. But they saw us together, I guess, and they were together and they thought they'd get the drop on us. Were they wrong? Turns out we fight quite well as a team.
I mean, not that I can remember, but sure, I'll take your word for it.
That's why I'm telling you now. The third was a specialist. He was neither assassin nor warrior, but some blend between the two, and he had an altered physiology as well. Like us, but not like us. He wouldn't go down easily. He didn't bleed. That was the biggest thing. You and I bleed.
Huh.
You also have been taught a trick. Do you know how to hide yourself?
I mean, I kind of know how to get away from social situations unannounced, but I don't know if that counts as hiding your oneself.
No, it's not that at all. Do you know how to hide yourself?
No.
Okay. She takes your hand and says, she goes to reach for your hand and says, "May I?"
Sure, why not?
She takes your hand and places it just under her neck, just over her sternum. You can kind of just about feel a heartbeat there. And she says, "Close your eyes. Concentrate.
Alright.
Listen for my heartbeat. And try to match it with your own." At this point, I would like you to make an insight check.
Inside.
Big rolls, first roll of the night, big rolls. By the way, there's a really, really pissed off Tabaxi that you can probably feel burning in the back of your head. She's like, "My man, don't you be touching my man."
My woman.
13. Bad roll.
Not too bad. Right, let's see if she can complete the rest of the roll, because this is a teamwork test. Not bad. She rolled an 18. You,
Thank you for caring.
at first, you don't know what you're supposed to be feeling. You have a feeling that because of what you went through before, last time you tried this, you probably had a little more connection with her. This time round, you're suffering from your usual social awkwardness, and yeah, there's a bit of personal space going on here as well. And then you feel calm, strangely calm, almost like it could get quieter. The shield that she's put around you has put you into a silent space. But then you just feel her heart. And then you just feel it going weaker and weaker and weaker until you can't feel it anymore. You were told to follow what her heart was doing. And you're calming. As it's getting weaker, instead of getting more concerned, you're calming and calming and calming. And you open your eyes just a crack for a moment, and you can just see that she's softly looking at you, this kind of concerned look. And as you do so, your eyes close again, and the heartbeat is gone. And so's yours. You can feel it. It's just completely gone. Your heartbeat is gone. Your mind is at peace. You just feel like you're somewhere else. So you, Rodrigo, can try. It's a high DC. Every time you succeed,
no shit.
the DC gets lower.
That's fair.
You can hide your mind and your soul. When someone tries to scry on you, even if they've met you before, you can become nothing. Absolutely nothing. But you have to actively do it, and the starting DC, is high. Every time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So the starting DC is 25, and every time you succeed, it goes down by 5 until it goes
Right.
down to 10.
What is the stat you used for it? Because he might not even be able to hit a 25, depending on what stat you're using.
He has a +6.
Alright.
Oh, it's inside. All right, that's good. That's fair.
Oh, sorry, hang on. Let me double check that. No, it's a +8. Sorry, he has a +8. So he succeeds on a 16 to 20.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Right.
That was. I imagine we come out of that now, right?
Yeah. The second that she sees that you've done the same as she has, she takes your hand, removes it from her chest, and you just feel everything coming back. And you didn't realize your heartbeat was so noisy. The blood rushing through your ears now is incredible as you're there, like, whoa, you know.
Jesus fuck. Well, that was certainly scary. Useful, scary nonetheless.
It's how we managed to sneak up on him.
Valid. That's fair. So is that all?
Not quite.
Not to sound mean. Right.
Both you and I have felt a call, usually when we sleep. Just a call to something. It's not words, it's just a feeling that we should be somewhere. Sometimes we found ourselves sitting up in bed. Once I stood up and I crossed the room, and then I came to and wondered why I was there. I don't sleepwalk. I have to admit it scares me. I don't like being out of control. I'm so very rarely out of control. I've told you this before, and I'll tell you this again. You tell anybody else about this, I will kill you.
Okay.
Is that the little or the big death?
Yes, I know what Le Petit Mort is. So that's...
Well done, Corinne.
That took you a moment.
I don't know French.
She said, look, and then she carries on to say, look, Aiden, I'm your boss, but I'm also your ally, and you are mine, and I've come to know you as a friend because I can talk to you about the fear of this situation, if nothing else. I won't tell you anything about the Green Organization. I won't tell you anything about the other things that I'm involved in, but when it comes to this one subject, you and I are, let's say, on the same project.
I understand.
Finally, I think you need this. She reaches into her top, and you have a feeling that she's pulling this out of a bra strap. As she pulls out a note and says, "This was delivered to you a few days back. You need it." And you notice that she's opened your mail. And she goes, "I think you're going to need it."
Thanks, I guess. I take it.
Okay. You open it up, and the note, you know the writer of the note, so you know that it's incredibly brief. And it says, "I shall be with you," and it states a date 3 days from now, and it's just signed Hector.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are we gonna meet a friend?
I say thank you. Now, if you excuse me, especially now that you gave me this, I need to get rid of 3 weeks worth of soberness.
No.
Just as you go to walk off, she catches your shoulder and she says, Aren't you even going to ask why my clothes are in your room, or haven't you found them yet?
I mean, I'll be
Two
honest
like
with you.
miniature versions of us just like appear.
I mean, I brushed it off as. I mean, now that I think about it, it makes no fucking sense considering how secretive you are. But I kind of brushed it off as farewell and or eclipse and or glory taking the piss out of me.
No, I put them there. Well, you put them there upon my request.
All right, that's fair. If you don't want me asking why, then I won't ask
No,
why.
clearly, you idiot. I'm about to tell you and show you why.
Oh, all right.
But I don't want to show you here. Do I
It
have
is a
permission to
little
teleport you?
Sure.
She walks up to you, puts her hands on your shoulders, and there's this popping sensation, and you're suddenly in your room. She steps back from you and says, I dump clothes all over the city, just in case I need them. This is why.
That's fair.
She steps back about 10 foot from you, and there's a look of peace on her face as she closes her eyes, and at once her clothes fall to the floor, and where previously she was standing, there's now what seems to be a very, very faint, ghostly version of her. Fully clothed, for those who would be thinking otherwise.
Yes, thank you, Simon.
I don't know what you mean.
No idea. Nuh-uh.
This ghostly, echoing voice says, I've been able to do this for many years, and I can fade even further. And as she says this, she fades to near invisible. I use this to walk around the city. I can use it to walk through doors, to gather information, and also to escape. Sometimes I can't run all the way back to my bedroom to be able to get dressed, so I have caches of clothes around the city. Unfortunately, I can't teleport in this form, and it does take up a lot of energy. Also, if I have run out of energy to the Fifth Order, how am I to teleport at all? Now you will turn around and not look back until I say so.
I guess that was assumed, but okay. I just turn around.
You turn around and there's this sudden rushing noise of air, and then the sound of someone very hurriedly getting dressed again.
I just say, well, that explains a lot.
I'm surprised, and she goes, you can turn around now. And as you turn around, she's sat on your bed pulling her boots on. Better. So, I hope enough evidence that I trust you with some details and you've trusted me with some details. Neither of us will tell.
Absolutely.
We have an accord. Are you still okay
We
with
do.
keeping that accord, or do I have to erase more of your memories?
No. No.
Yeah, what the fuck do you mean by more?
Well, you've had memories erased, have you not? Being that you cannot remember things. I may not be able to get rid of 3 weeks, but I'm surely able to get rid of the last 10 minutes.
Yes, we do have an accord.
Good.
I would rather keep my memories intact. Thank you very much.
Good. Let's see about restoring them, shall we? Now,
Sure.
other than a slight suspicion by your friends that you and I are, pardon the meridian.
Yes,
fucking,
please.
But
If give me a second. I need I don't know how to can keep role playing after you do that. I say, yes, I think I am about to stab. I'm about to stab them if they keep insinuating that.
Stay on the edge of your barely contained violent tendencies. It looks very genuine and keeps our cover story. So,
Or
what is your next step? I, for one, have a job to do. I've got crews all over the city looking for these ooze monsters. I wish they had better names for them.
well, I guess I should probably catch up with the others. We should catch up to the others, and I also need to see, look into the letter. And I also, like I said, I have 3 weeks worth of soberness I need to get rid of.
No.
You go and do what you need to do. They are currently at the temple, but catch up with them as you will. Contact them when you will.
Sure.
Now, for continuity's sake, I'm going to say that Aiden spends the next few hours doing something that he wants. What's he doing, Rodrigo?
Question, is there, I don't imagine it gets snowy here in Ostergold, but is there something like a fireplace or something with fire in the tavern?
Yeah, there's fireplaces in every room, and it does snow in the winter here. This has very much a kind of typical weather record. So it's sunny in summer, it snows in winter, it has a rainy season, that kind of thing. Right now, it's a little bit cold. I mean, it's the equivalent of the end of September, so it's kind of
For
rainy.
me, that's hot. I get you.
Yeah, El Salvador's always hot though. But in Ostergold, September is kind of rainy season. It's not been raining recently. It's just been a bit grey. Well, you don't know what's happened over the last 3 weeks, but right now it's grey.
All right. Okay. So after Olivia leaves, right? I'm gonna grab that letter, and I'm gonna burn it.
Sure. You put it in the fire, and you realise that it's actually made out of a paper that has an accelerant in it. You throw it in the fire, and it burns up instantly like flash paper.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hector
Now,
hasn't
how are we going
changed.
to tell this?
And then I go down to the bar.
Oh, Aiden, I had no idea that you were here. I see you do not have your feline chaperone.
No, I do not, so please give me all the alcohol you have.
That would be quite the feat if you were able to drink all of that. But let's get you, let's call it fortified, shall we?
Eclipse is gonna murder Noki.
Your personal mission has turned into a one-cat AA meeting.
Yeah.
She's just gonna materialize, like, you hear in the voice in back, or like Noki hears in the voice, like he hears just like this menacing purring in the back of his head. Yeah.
She has the fucking JoJo menacing kanji behind her.
Okay,
and I hope Aiden is feeling this too.
So for purposes of getting everybody back together, you spend the rest of the time that those guys took to get yourself neatly fortified through a carefully and calibrated process of brooding and drinking.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The Aiden process.
Too much, you brood for a bit, then you drink, Brood a bit to
Then
see
you
if it's okay.
brood.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. Okay.
Unless the restoration gets rid of being drunk.
he
Canon.
forgets that I now have.
Yes, so Eclipse and
You have to determine that he is drunk first. You won't. You don't know.
we know what a sober Iden looks like and what drunk Iden looks like.
You guys have known each other only for a few days. I mean, technically, okay, you've known each other for
couple
about a
of
month,
weeks
but
now?
really, with the memories removed, you've only known each other for about a week.
Yes, but we've seen sober Iden now, and we've seen drunk Iden, and we know the difference.
He can still fake it. I speak from experience. So,
Yeah.
Right.
you guys get out of the newspaper, unless you were going to finish up with anything else with Hobra. Were there any other questions you were going to give?
No.
She didn't tell us what we went and talked about because we finished the session just there.
Okay.
Oh, right.
If my memory is serving me right, because the plan was we were going to do Hobra,
hmm
not in that sense, then go see the enchanter that Glory wanted to see.
No. There was no enchanter.
Oh, was
I
it the
just
merchant?
wanted to check out the merchant's quarters to see if anyone recognized me, so I could figure out where the hell I'd been blowing stuff up.
Yeah.
But that can be put on the back burner. That's fine.
Well, you are in the
go
merchant
back
district.
to the-
You
Yeah.
are in the merchant district. So, Rodrigo.
Yes, sorry, I don't want to be rude, so if we can't do this, that's fine. But I do want to do a little bit of role playing with Naki, if that's okay.
Obviously,
yeah, sure.
that's
And then
perfect.
Yeah, go
fine.
for it. You weren't here last week.
what
Go
I'll
for
say
it.
is, yeah, let's do the role playing with Noki, and then how about to tie everything together? You turn up at the newspaper shortly after these guys do. So they're talking to Hobra, and you find out where they are and turn up. Yeah, and that should sew together the session quite quickly. Right. So
Yeah.
Noki carries on providing you with the tipples of your choice.
Yeah, I knock back a drink, and I'm gonna say that I'm no longer sober by this point.
hmm
And I turn to Naki and I never really had a choice in becoming a blood hunter.
Really? He's cleaning glasses. He has people to do it for him, but he's doing it because he knows it's a stereotypical thing that bar managers do.
Yeah.
Something to do with his
He wants to
as he's listening.
play the
Yeah.
part. He wants to play the part. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
you know for a
understand.
fact that he knows prestidigitation and can clean this glass with a snap of his fingers, but he's there meticulously going at it with a glass cloth.
It's fun.
You've
It's
noticed
fun.
this.
Yeah.
So,
Like-
what was it? Did somebody kidnap you and do this to you? Was it a religious
Nope.
requirement?
Nope. It's to keep the family business running, whether you fucking want it or not.
I'm sorry, I missed something. What is the family business?
So, I think you might know by now. You work with Renata, and she knows fucking everything.
She does not tell everything to humble people, especially people who are effectively facilities managers.
True, but I assume that you might be in the know about who you are keeping in your place. My family are the Canelms. Fucking,
He looks at you with kind of narrowed eyes, as if to say, "Sorry, are
Who?
your family famous?"
known hunters of vampires, fiends, and other sorts of bullshit that shouldn't belong in this world. And
He steps forward and kind of leans on the bar conspiratorially and goes, "How fascinating. And no, for your information, I do not have a great amount of intelligence from the Green Organization. To the people who work in this tavern, I am their manager and their boss. But to everybody else in the Green Organization, I am your servant.
That's fair, but so I'm gonna be telling you this then with the utmost confidence.
Of course, I keep your secrets.
Yes, like I said, I kind of didn't have a choice in becoming a blood hunter. It was kind of you're part of the canals, so fucking suck it up. And I wasn't particularly up for it, and I just take a big swig of like drink,
So
and then I gag and like.
So does this happen to everybody in your family?
Oh, I mean, some of them are more willing than others, keeping like up keeping the family tradition, and like it's for the better of everyone. And I'm like, look, my family were good people, ostensibly. They were. They did everything they did was for the good of everyone. But at the same time, I don't appreciate the fact that I was forced into becoming
I can't help but point
this.
out that you've been using the past tense when you're referring to your family.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm poking on a sore subject, but
it's fine.
it's part of being a barman. You seek out misery and then you solve it with alcohol, which apparently you seem
Yeah.
very much on board with.
Yep. It's probably my core personality trait by this point.
Well, consider me your therapist.
Yeah, my family are no more. They're ash gone.
The look of shock on his face is completely undisguised. You don't even need to make a roll. It's genuine. He's shocked.
It's genuine. Yeah.
This is a terrible thing.
Yeah, I guess. And I don't know whether to feel awful about it because they were my fucking family, and they were good people, and I kind of looked it up to them, or if I should feel some sort of satisfaction because they did this to me. I don't want to have these abilities, but yet I do.
I think that when your family loves you and they do such a thing, they do so because they believe in their hearts of hearts that they are giving you the best chance that they can, possibly the best chance of survival. I have a less regrettable experience myself. I don't know how much you know about the Kalashtari, but my kind, our psionic abilities, there's some comes naturally and others come from being around your family. You passively read their thoughts, not the thoughts that are private. They're able to disguise those. But being around other Kalashtar, you feel what it is to be Kalashtar. And then when they, in return, feel that you're ready, that they feel within you the same feeling that it is to be themselves. We are taken at different times. It's considered a rite of passage, almost a coming of age, although the ability appearing and maturity of the person is not closely related. Although once you have the ability, you can't help but grow up fast. And we go to a ritual that in your language would be called the bonding. We are taken to a temple in the Summer Isles, on the largest island, and we are surrounded by all those that we love. To deny going there. Even the elderly, even the dying, especially the dying, as you'll find out, come and are in this presence, if they can get there at all. I remember carrying my grandmother to my own bonding. And in the presence of everybody there, I open my mind to them and they to me. Suddenly I know momentarily what it is to be each one of them. And then my psionic powers grow as I feel what it is to use the powers. We are not trained. It is something instinctive that is just felt and remembered. And it passes from generation to generation. And as we do so, we also take on a few of the memories, but certainly what it feels like to be everybody who is there at the time. That's why the dying go there, you see. It is their last chance to share themselves, their mind, their feelings, what it is to be them, with a member of their family or loved ones. Friends go there too. Loved one, for us, does not mean family.
Right.
And that is it. That is the only time that we do it. And this is also why I am so heartbroken to hear about your family. My family, no matter where I go now, are with me, literally, inside my head. It's also why I'm so distraught to know that you have lost your memories. There could be times with people that you love, people that you've met, experiences that make you who you are, that you no longer have. For the Kalashtar, there can be no greater violation. So I'm here for you, my friend, when you need me.
Thank you. I spent the last 3 years getting myself as far as fucking possible from that pile of ash up South Van Court. And today I found out that I guess I can't run away forever. Thank you for the talk, Naki. That really appreciate it. Can I have a bottle to take with me on the go?
He goes to reach for the usual cheap ass shit that he gives you, and then his hand just sympathetically goes over to some of the finer wine, picks it up and says, "One for the road."
Thank you. Pop it open, take a swig, and I just say, "Thank you again." Yeah, just I should probably go see the others.
Indeed. Always make sure you have a good supply of allies.
Sure.
He carries on fruitlessly polishing a glass that is perfectly polished, and
I love that.
leaves you to your day. So, by contacting the Green Organization, Aiden, you're able to find out where the party are going, and you head them off.
He could just call us, to be honest.
Yeah, let's say he did
He
that.
could.
He doesn't talk to us.
You think he'd rather talk to some random person at the green?
Yeah, it's just some stranger, not the people that have been bugging him for the last 4.5 fucking weeks. Not that we're upset or anything. We're
So,
perfectly happy with the situation.
so you walk into the news of Ostergov, and you ask where some of the Green Organization people who have recently entered are, and they see you up to a room where there's tons of people queuing, and you ask about there, and then they point you straight through into the third floor, which a quarter of it is Hobra's open plan office. She doesn't have like an office that's just herself. She has her best fact finders and information agents in the room with her. and you walk into this room that's very slightly bustling, and you've got scribes, you've got people who are looking on a kind of conspiracy theorist board with string in between different pieces of parchment that have been nailed to a cork board, being that post-it notes don't exist here. And you can see that in polite conversation, Hobra is talking to the remaining members of the party. At which point she says, "Oh, is this gentleman with you?" And you guys turn around and see Aiden approaching.
Everything I just said about the whole flesh golem thing, you forget that never happened. We never had that conversation. Hi, Aiden.
I kind of I freeze a little bit after Farewell does that, and I go, I think I kind of regret coming here after all. Big swig.
No. We figured out a way to get back some of our memories. So you and me are gonna do this ritual where Farewell is singing later.
I leave.
I didn't think that was the best way to break it to him, but
I grab it and like drag him back.
You know what? I am impressed though. She didn't use the whip knife to get him. I think that has shown over the last sort of like 6 or 7 hours real emotional growth.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. However, as much as I want my memories back, I don't know if I want to partake in a fucking ritual with Glory with Farewell singing.
I will point.
Singing.
I will point out that I have a wonderful singing voice, you absolute bastard. and second, I find that deeply.
Yeah.
Yes, I was. Thank you. I find that deeply offensive to not only my religion but my profession as a whole.
Stop being so mean to him, Farewell.
Anyways, what's going on here?
He's been hiding from us for like 8 hours. I'm allowed to be a little bit upset with him.
So Aiden, what did you and Olivia do?
Well, if it took 8 hours, then it was really good.
Yeah, we shouldn't really ask him that question. That's a little bit too intimate. I mean,
Literally just said
a gentleman.
You guys, minds are always in the gutter.
Yes, I don't deny that.
It was literally just talk. Words were spoken.
Right.
Sure.
Did he say?
Language of love. Yes.
Fuck off.
I will just grab Aiden and like go outside the door. Like so.
Do you?
I will share a knowing look with Farewell. Like, yeah, we know what we know.
Anyways, what's going on here? What are we doing at the news?
Right, so we're trying to find out a bit more of what happened during the week through talking to Hobra. We did go to the temple of the Raven Queen and went through the restorative ritual, which I did gain back some of my memories. I don't have a great connection with the Raven Queen, so I don't get that much. I did get some memories of training with the lash knife and stuff like that. Cora got a lot more. Farewell got some, but Cora got the most, so she knows the most of what happened. Flashes, but it's worth going through. Glory did say that she was gonna wait until you could do it with her, just so you guys could, so you wouldn't feel too uncomfortable. But I'm not sure that was the greatest choice because you might feel even more uncomfortable doing it with her. So
yes, that's literally the case.
Don't worry, we'll all be there. Did Miss Storm tell you anything about what happened through the weeks?
Sorta. Sorry, I've been part of it. I cannot say, and part of it I kind of forgot thanks to alcohol.
Right. Give me your bag.
I will safely say, don't piss off the Tabaxi bounty hunter.
She's got a lash knife.
Give me your bag.
And an attitude.
And you're her human.
Do you give me my bag? My bag. Your bag.
It's in your bag now. This is like being at school again with the bully, like, give me your bag. You're gonna go in the locker, fucker.
Do
Anyway.
you give Eclipse your bag?
No.
Right.
Is Eclipse gonna be a pouty cat who's pacing now?
So I will try to take the. Right. If you're not gonna give me your bag, can you please give me the bottle of wine you're surely carrying with you right now?
Sure, give me a second and I start chugging.
I grab it.
You know, I've got this strange feeling that we really should go out and see what those two are doing. But I'm not sure if we really want to interrupt Eclipse's confession or anything that way.
I don't know.
True, though.
Feeling quite a lot of. I can hear a few hisses. I'm not sure she's in the best of mood.
I don't think any of us, though, are like quite sure how Tabaxi expressed their feelings. I mean,
It
she's
might
certainly
be
the person on that.
witnesses. I've
Yeah.
heard worse.
You know, and it could be, you know,
We should
How she
respect
does
their
that.
boundaries on this.
And
Like, give
some
them a
privacy
little
as well.
privacy.
I think perhaps Glory, you could give Aiden some relationship advice because two on the go is
It's
at
a little
least
much.
morally wrong. Unless, of course, they're both fully consent.
I mean, one night stands are one thing, but you can't lead two women along at once. That's just no. Doesn't work.
Coming from
It
you.
doesn't work in the long run.
Glory doesn't leave more than one woman along at a time. She picks one up, throws them away, picks one up, throws them away. It's efficient.
And I'm really sorry as well, Hobra. I would like to say that this is unusual for us, but we've all quickly developed that I think that this is pretty much how our lives are now, and how they're going to be. So I'm really sorry.
Farewell.
Right,
I
so-
have poked into the lives of the rich and famous of Ostergald. Trust me, you guys have nothing on them.
I can see that. That would be
Eclipse
kind of entertaining.
Keeps trying to wrestle the
We
bottle of wine
should
from
trade
Ivan.
notes sometime.
Does she succeed?
I'm happy for an exchange of information, Glory. Just out of curiosity, the bladed chain at Eclipse's belt, that is a weapon, yes?
Yes.
In that case, definitely not the worst I've seen.
I won't. I don't think I follow.
Probably best
Well,
that you don't.
Thank you, Hopra.
So, you wanted to know something about, well, the city, the goings-on. I'm quite happy to provide a certain amount of information. Yes.
Simon.
Well,
I was gonna say, Eclipse will try to wrestle the bottle away from Aiden, but then we'll come back in because, like, it's just
Sure.
like.
If you guys want to roll off privately to see whether or not you steal his bottle, go right ahead, but I don't feel the pressing need to do so.
No, that just can be a roleplay mode. Wherever you decide if Eclipse succeeds or not, it's your choice. But then,
Yeah, so
We'll go back.
you're wrestling over a bottle and a bunch of bardic types, they're information bards, are kind of giving you a wide berth as you're kind of wrestling like brother and sister over a toy in the middle of a corridor, and they're walking past with sheafs of paper and stuff. And when they realise it's a bottle of wine you're fighting over, you notice that they're shielding the paper as if to say, "Don't get any of that on this. It took me ages to write this down."
I've just got this strange sensation that I should go out there and yell at them, and I don't know why. It's this like primordial like compulsion.
Yep.
Go and do it then if it'll make you
You've got
better.
to rank in
I
dad.
Yes.
That's the problem. I don't think it would be best if I did, because then I might have to admit to something deep down inside, and I'm not sure if I'm ready to take that responsibility.
Well, my worry is more that he'll just walk away more, and that isn't helping the matter if we actually want to see if he wants to do this ritual. I feel like we need to find out if he actually wants his memories back. We haven't asked him that. Maybe we should ask him before we say, "Here, listen to Farewell sing for a bit." I mean, he's just going to want to drink. That's all I'm saying.
I imagine his response will be, fuck off.
Yeah, you're probably right. Well, then, I don't know.
Well-
Glory, what do you want to do?
At this point, Aiden and Eclipse, seemingly resolved or at least agreeing to disagree, start walking back into the room.
Yeah.
They're back.
Hey,
It
So-
wasn't
I
that
will like
bad.
quietly patter and whisper into Farewell's ear and be like, "Do you have a way to get out, like, rid of drunkenness?"
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I am a rather busy person. I hate to be the type of person who says that, but
Yeah.
I really am.
Sorry.
I've got a new paper that I need to get out for tomorrow morning, and
Yes,
I need to collate a lot of
let's get on.
information.
You said that that we did speak, that we came and spoke to 2 or 3 weeks ago. What do we talk about?
So you were looking for sightings of a particular person, and his name was Edwin? No, something beginning with E. I've got it in my notes somewhere. She starts flicking through a notebook. Emlyn Emrys is what you were looking for, trying to find out if there was any information on him. I found out through my information that he's just an arcanist in the city. He's one of these kind of cheap and dirty enchanters. The enchantments aren't of a great quality. Sometimes they dissipate. Sometimes they play up. But he's, I guess, trying to hone his craft. You did give me some information back saying that he was dead, which helped me out. You asked about a ship. You were asking for a... And she waves her hand, and the familiar shimmer that Aiden received earlier on in the day goes around her desk so that no one else can hear, and she says, you asked for a ship that contained a member of the Brotherhood of the Seven Sails, a shackleman by the name of Bloodwind Bloodaxe. I pointed you over to the ship, and that was it. That's all you wanted from me. You also
Excuse me,
asked
member of
me...
the what?
Pardon,
Aiden? Excuse me, a member of the who?
The Shacklemen. Wow, have you not heard of them? They, of course, you're not a coastal boy, are you? The Shacklemen are one of the factions of the Brotherhood of the Seven Sails, or the Nation of the Seven Sails, as they're called now. The Shacklehood faction are, I guess you would call them freedom fighters. One person's vigilante is another person's criminal, however, so they're not welcomed in many countries, including this one, although they have safe harbour here in Ostergard. The Duke has extended that because he is anti-slavery. The Shacklemen are people who feel strongly against slavery or were former slaves themselves, and they go wherever slavery is practiced, and they consider that an invitation to take whatever they want, frankly. It doesn't sound as noble as sometimes they can be. Sometimes they will free slaves and be very noble heroes, Other times they were out to punish and even kill political figures who continue slavery in the countries of Illyria, find themselves at the mercy or targeted for assassination by the Shacklemen. Blodwyn herself is, I guess, a support member of it all. She's responsible for making spell cannons. So you guys know that when you're talking about ships, there are 3 tiers of ship. Obviously, they're all different sizes and shapes and things, but the 3 different armaments that you can get are siege weaponry, so kind of not trebuchets, ballista, so giant crossbows. Then up from that is black powder weaponry, so cannons. And then the very best is a thing called a spell cannon. Spell cannon will fire blasts of energy. The low-level spell cannons will just fire a form of force damage. Then up from that, they can maybe change their damage types to fire or cold or lightning. And the very, very top-level spell cannons, you can actually get them to fire spells, specific spells. So the fact that she makes these means that she's a very accomplished artificer and enchantress, because it takes a long time to make these.
How much would Eclipse know about Shacklemen, considering she's within tribe that's very all over the place and also on an island with a lot of coast?
Yep, you've heard of the Shacklemen before. You know that they are welcome in Ostran, and they don't have any problems with the Ostrani. So Ostran as a nation does not do slavery and never has done slavery. It's one of those few places where they've had wars before, internal. They've had civil wars, but they have never practiced slavery. It's just never been a thing of their culture. So yeah, you know that the Shacklemen there are considered bad boy heroes and are normally good for stories of daring and adventure.
I assume there's quite a lot of Tabaxi that join the Shacklemen because of how far they travel and with their reputation being really cool adventurers.
Well, typically of the Tabaxi Naru, your tribe that has a cultural feeling of wanderlust. Yes,
that's what I meant, the Naru. Yeah.
If ever you find a Tabaxi on a ship, it's probably going to be a Naru. And that's the same for the Shacklemen, is that some of the Naru have gone off to be Shacklemen, at least some part in their life, until they come back and go into the stage of their life where they start nesting. So, yes. They start
yes, the Shacklemen. My cousin goes with the wind, or wind, is a member of the Shacklemen. He finds it quite interesting.
You notice that she's absent-mindedly written down the name of your cousin. She can't help herself. She notes down everything.
Yeah.
Eclipse, remember we had that conversation about things we don't say out loud. That falls into that category.
Finally,
No,
you
it's
also
public
asked
knowledge.
me about the new residuum trade. I assume that you wanted to invest in the latest hot market, being that it was Glory who asked me. And
It's his
I
area.
pointed you to certain families within the city who are currently investing in it. There are quite a few people who are investing. As I say, it's a blooming industry. And so shares in Residuum have been bought up by most of the major faction. The king has bought up obviously a lot of Residuum and started to invest in those who claim they're able to supply it. Ms. Green herself and her organization has approached them as well, although I hear with not a great deal of success. Finally, there are merchant families within the city who have invested as well. But the one peculiar thing, and the thing that you found most interesting, Glory, is that ordinarily, if there's a business that starts within the city, there's normally a figurehead or a business identity that you can contact and invest in this particular case, the residuum has been arriving through the merchant families and through their various holdings to be traded in the trade halls within the city. They're brought in by those families, and if you ask those families, and I have, they're incredibly closed about it. They are told that they are paid to supply this from the anonymous source because people will want to get close to the source. They have said that the Duke is aware and that the Duke wants to protect this new source of wealth in the same way that he wants to protect his gold mines. As such, people who want to invest have to do so through the families.
Right.
The Kastari were the people that you were most interested in, Glory. The Kastari family seem to have a great deal of supply. So you know that the Kastari are a tiefling family. They are not Scouran. They are just a tiefling family from the South Vardencore, and they are quite well-to-do, very decadent, and a little bourgeoisie as well. So they are
new money.
Yeah, they're
Ew.
new money. They love decadence. They love throwing the money about. Some of them have got quite hedonistic tendencies, which is how you know some of them. So excessive drinking, gambling, late nights, sleeping through the day, not having any gainful employment, that kind of thing. And yeah, so you have presumably some form of connection there.
What was Lady Lysa's last name? It's on a different game. I'm just asking Simon.
That was not her name. No. And also, Lady Lysa has never given you her name.
No, but no. I'm just wondering because matter knowledge, matter. Don't worry.
Meta pigeon and also makes no sense for the people on the stream. So let's move on.
Yes.
The frustrating thing is I don't really.
And you know that the Kastari have a number of stores and shops and factories throughout the city. They are not a faction in and of themselves. They are loyal only to themselves and have worked with a number of the factions in the city. They tend to be quite mercenary in that they will work for whoever gives the most interesting offer. As such, there's a certain amount of your family, Glory, that you're familiar with. You have a feeling that they would probably do quite well playing the game if only they would drop some of the hedonism and the decadence and actually focus on ambition and achievement. So they would be quite lazy. Your family would eat them for breakfast. But you have a feeling that with a little bit of honing, the family could probably be quite powerful.
Interesting.
The disappointing thing is that this is yet another avenue we've gone down, and we're really no closer to knowing what went on. What happened to us.
May I speak in private with Cora once our business is concluded?
Sorry?
What?
May I speak with Cora in private once our business is concluded?
Up to
Sure.
Cora.
Yeah.
Obviously,
right.
I will answer any of your questions, and if you have any other offers for me, I will happily do an investigation. Quid pro quo, of course.
Do you want me to fill the room full of spirit guardians so if she tries anything, they'll shred her in about 3 seconds? Not to be rude, but I've got a habit of not leaving my friends alone in strange rooms.
Hobra
It's
is
not
looking
ended well.
guarded, very guarded. The prospect that you've just said, and she knows that you're quite powerful, and certainly maybe more powerful than she is. She's kind of looking at you with a wide-eyed stare, as if to say, this guy's threatened to put me into a spiritual blender.
Farewell!
It's
not
okay,
your
Farewell.
cloth yet. Look at you. This is great.
Glory, we try to be nice to people. Farewell, we do not threaten people that are being nice to us.
But look at him
Just
getting
stay close.
Farewell, threatening people is never a good idea.
Sorry.
Whatever you say, Cora. Just
We'll just be outside the door. Sorry.
Yeah.
sure.
It's okay.
A little
I
more coldly,
appreciate
she
it.
says, assuming that our business is concluded.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, and I'm really sorry. Farewell. No.
We're all on edge. We don't remember the last 3 weeks, remember? So, you know.
You watch as she says, I quite understand. And she's trying to express that she understands, but she really doesn't care. As far as she's concerned, she's been threatened.
Yep. GG, farewell. No,
What?
Gloria is
Huh?
proud of you. Yes. Good.
I don't know where that came from. Oh well. And I'll be outside, and I leave.
Hmm. I follow.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be right out.
So you guys leave the barrier, and you can no longer hear anything within. Harbor turns to you, Cora, and says, you asked me to look up a person within the city. Her name was Lysandra. You said she was a wood elf that had recently joined the city.
Yeah?
Here's what I have on her. She hands you a piece of paper, and you have a feeling it's been rescribed, and it points out that the ship that she came in on came from Sylvania. So Sylvania is a country to the south of South Vardencourt. It is mostly covered in forest. The roads and areas that aren't covered in forest are owned by high elves, and they're mostly very lords and ladies and knights, very kind of knight and courtly culture of high elves, quite arrogant, quite egotistical. And normally the knights are kind of tramping up and down the exposed roads of Sylvania, dueling each other, getting very much egos rubbed against each other so that they can increase their standing. Duels are commonplace amongst the high elves there, and the reason for that is that they are looking for favor with the courts of the Feywild, being that Sylvania has the highest number of Fëanors into the Feywild than any other country on the continent. The places that are covered in woodland are dominated by the wild elves and the wood elves. These tend to have hidden villages and hidden treetop towns that you could walk straight past and have no idea that they're there, due to a mixture of magic, Feywild seeping out and changing how you perceive things, and the residents of Sylvania, mostly wood elf. They do have other races there, but very, very few. They are a little xenophobic, and they seem to be very protective of guarding the ways into the Feywild. And you have a feeling that most of the denizens there go in and out of the Feywild in the same way that you or I would visit a nearby city. It seems to just be commonplace there. They have a small embassy here in the city, and that's largely because Ostergald is in the south of the continent. So if I just bring it up for the benefit of the viewers, let me just get rid of Ostergald here. Where is it? City frame. Let's get rid of that. So Vardencourt is here. So this green at the bottom of Vardencourt is the start of Sylvania. And you guys are here. Okay. So you're around about 3/4 of the way down South Vardencourt. There's only a tiny amount of the continent left before you get to Sylvania. So you do have some wood elves within the city that you can that you've seen from time to time, even in Freetown, because they don't seem to care that much for the trappings of high society. Whereas any of the high elves that have come from Sylvania are very much in the merchant quarter of the city, if that makes sense. She says that the ship came from one of the ports in Sylvania. That's where Lysandra came from. And she immediately started, when she got into the city, she immediately started asking after her sister, who apparently had come here before her. And she was now looking for any information as to where her sister's whereabouts were. After that, she hasn't got much in the way of information other than her home address. So she has some rooms that she rents here in the city. They're just outside of the merchant quarter. So I'll move the marker on the stream for people to see it. It's one of the blocks just off the main road going out to the south of the city. And so you can visit Lysandra at any point if you wish.
How long ago did I ask you for this?
Oh, about 3.5, maybe more weeks ago. I think it was about 19, 20 days ago.
Was Simon, was that before I lost my memory then? Did I?
Shortly after you lost your memory. So
Okay.
you asked around about 2 or 3 days after you had the conversation with Lysandra.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. I might need this.
Please keep it. She reveals to you that she has an eidetic memory. She notes down things out of nervous habit, but she very rarely forgets things.
Okay. Well, hopefully that's a good thing.
Depends on what you end up doing, Cora. Oh, congratulations, by the
True.
way. You weren't wearing that before.
Yeah,
No,
I know. I'll let you know who it's from when I find out.
Oh my god, the reaction from her is a sight. There's this sudden grin and her eyes go wide as she loves a mystery, and you can tell that by her reaction. And she says, well, if you ever need any help with that mystery, I'd be very happy to help you.
Also,
We're gonna put it in some paper.
Well, I guess we could call it a private contract.
I need to have maybe one conversation, but then I might take you up on that offer.
May I see it?
Because
It looks lovely.
it's kind of dangerous, I think. Oh, best
I
not
wasn't
touch.
asking to wear it or for you to take it off. I was just going to ask you to bring your hand up so I can see it a little better. She takes your hand with both hands, and as she does so, she holds your hand with a certain amount of... It seems very warm, very... what's the word? Very familiar. And she looks on it, and I want you to make an insight check.
Big roll, big roll, big roll, big roll.
You got me, natural 20!
Okay.
it was really funny to see Kate celebrate, but there was no sound coming up.
You'd be like, that's a 20.
Okay. Yeah, you catch it. You definitely catch it. When she looks at the ring, envy. And a pass would have just given you envy, but you got a natural 20. The envy isn't, for example, that she's been trying to get married for years, and that you've got married and you have no idea who with. The envy is with whoever is with you, and at that point you can see she kind of gets very guarded all of a sudden, and you realise that Hogg was attracted to you.
Aww.
Cora's like, anyway, I better catch up with the others. I'll see you. Bye bye.
Charisma warlocks, folks. They're really good with people.
Also, Simon,
My poor
sorry,
Bard.
but can we take
You're very poor Bard.
can we take a quick break right now?
Yes.
We can indeed. So we're going to take a 10-minute break, everybody, and we will see you after the break for hopefully these guys finding out a bit more information other than minor details that I rolled up when I was bored.
God damn, how many bad decisions can we make? We're getting nowhere.
We will see you guys in 10 minutes'
That's
time.
pretty on
and
brand,
I
to
put
be
a vote
fair.
out for you guys. I put a vote out for finesse point, and the finesse point has gone to Aiden, so I'll put the point up on the stream. So you can use that if you somehow trigger any of the combats that I've sewn into
Bar
the city.
fight! Bar fight!
Bar fight, so I can use this
Jesus
spectral
Christ.
shotgun.
Yeah, you want to start a bar fight so I can shoot someone. What the fuck?
Just so someone can use a finesse point. It's been 3 weeks so far.
Yeah.
As I say, I need to work in the non-combat uses of finesse points, but they're starting to come
To
in.
enter a room with finesse, surely.
Get
will see-
advantage.
We will see you viewers in 10 minutes' time.
Yes.
The Carnath protect us.
Why don't you like them?
You don't know them as I do.
I know they saved us from the marked ones,
There's only one reason why they'd be in Lingard.
but no one here has ever seen a marked one. Who are you? Get out of here!
Amari spirit. It's found in your vessel. I'm marked.
What have you done, Ren?
You won't go away, will you, Ren?
I can't
can't leave. My family needs me.
All the people you know will think you're evil, dangerous. They will hunt you down.
Anyone caught harboring a mark will be punished. Anyone caught helping a mark will be punished. Anyone caught in support of a mark will be punished.
Welcome back, everybody. So, you were leaving the newspaper after threatening its editor and then breaking her heart. So, well done. Mischief managed.
I didn't mean to break her heart. I had no idea. I didn't get married, Simon. You did.
Anyone? No.
Excuse me, Nick. What?
No, I was going high five. High five.
Oh,
No.
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 Like, we are the worst people.
Yes.
Okay. You have left the news of Ostergold. Where are you going next? You're currently in the Merchant Quarter. So to give you a few ideas of where you might want to go, you have been given the location of Lysander, which is back here. You have got nearby your lockup, which is just over here. You have a... Let's see, what else have you got? No, I'm not going to prompt you any further than that. Anything else that you can think of is what you've got. Oh, I will give you as well that you have the Rusty Hatchet, which is here, that you can visit if you want to visit the room of Emrys Emlyn.
What's the time?
It's getting on to be quite late because I said it was about 7 p.m. So Hobra is currently starting the design for tomorrow morning's newspaper so that she can get it to the presses in time. So you have anything you can do in an evening, and then you guys can have a long rest.
Yeah.
The only advice I would give is remember your contacts and any affiliations you might have, you know, to be able to gather information. I do know that Felicia wants to take Rodrigo to the Raven Queen Temple to see what visions they get.
Yeah, I think to see what missions we can get out of there, that's the first order of business, to see what we can get out of Aiden, Aiden and Glory. We'll go with them, be emotional support for Aiden, who has to go with Glory.
So does that mean you're an emotional support animal?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I'm just emotional support animal.
So, active players, Felicia and Rodrigo, are you going to discuss amongst yourselves whether you want to go to the temple or not?
I mean,
no.
Do we really have to?
No, you don't have to go there. I promise you that it doesn't hurt. It will not change you. You will still be you. Depending on how you connect to the ritual, you may remember more. That's it. You will be sober afterwards, though.
Well, I do kind of want to remember what happened in those 3 weeks, because not knowing, like, having a huge gap in my memory is kind of freaking me out. There's also some stuff I would rather not relive. That's okay.
I don't think it will go that far. But I don't know. I mean, it really depends on the person and what you're trying to get out of it, is the honest answer.
Sure, I'll take a...
Okay.
Okay, we'll take him to get the ritual done.
Yep.
Well, you go back to Freetown, the small shanty town that's outside of the city, and the large, vaulted, Gothic-looking temple rises up in front of you once again. Cora and Farewell start to walk through the streets that they once called home, and people are giving nods of acknowledgement to you, but also they're acting very slightly differently. And you look down at yourself and realize how different you look these days. The fact that you're wearing the best kind of armor, the best kind of clothing, at least that's what you would look like to them. You know that you're by far not the most affluent members of the city, but to these guys, you moved up and moved on.
And I have my shoes for once.
You do. Iden and Glory, you step into a large vaulted ceilinged church. The ceiling of this particular church, compared to that in the Palor Temple, the Palor Temple's roof is effectively a glass house. It lets in the light, both of the sun and the moon. When you step in to this place, it has a slightly dingy light to it, but it's not eerie. It's quiet, pleasantly dim, solemn, peaceful. When you came here last time, Glory, there was a mournful dirge that was being sung, beautiful but tragic in equal measure. Now it's quite quiet. And you know that a lot of people are using this time, using this quiet to remember those who have passed. As you step in, one of the small shrines to one side, you see a large Goliath female kneeling down in front of an altar, one hand, one fist at the floor, and the other one across her chest. And she's just kneeling in silent prayer in front of a minor shrine that you guys, well, most of you have no idea of. Farewell, and maybe Cora, your choice, Kate, know that this small shrine is the aspect of Ouijas. Ouijas is the good necromancer, known as the Caller. Ouijas is the aspect of the Raven Queen, a servant of the Raven Queen, that calls the undead into the service of the good, normally as a way of using the undead to pull other undead across the gate and into death. Necromancy in this setting isn't necessarily bad, but more often than not is used to evil ends. Ouijas is very much the representation of the honourable, if militant, use of necromancy for clerics. Knowing that this vigil will probably take her all night, she's clearly seeking some answers. Farewell, you probably feel compelled to keep the others from interrupting Kala as she's doing her vigil. And you move on and try to find Dusk. Dusk is up at the lectern, even though she's not producing any sermon or anything like that at the moment. She's standing there and resting her hands on the top of the pedestal. And she's got her eyes closed and she's just praying under her breath. As you approach, she opens her eyes and gives you a nod, steps down from the pedestal and walks towards you. You return, and with Iden, I remember you from before. You frequented here from time to time.
You did?
That's weird.
That's a very non-answer.
I miss.
We're sorry to bother you again, High Priestess, but Iden would like to go through the ritual. I'm not sure if Glory does. Glory?
Yeah, I'll join in this time.
Both of them.
Very well. We are currently in the hour of remembrance, but we do have some sancta underneath the main building. If you will come down here, I will fetch a small chorus to aid us.
That's foreboding. Sure.
She leads you down into the cellar of, well, the first cellar of this structure. Farewell knows that there are 5 basements to this structure. It's kind of a bit of an iceberg. There's more below it than there is above it. You also know, Farewell, that below the 5th basement, there's a kind of an oubliette, I guess it would be, kind of a bottle dungeon, and it's a carnal house. It's where skeletons and so forth will spend the last of their time before they're broken down, and the body will stay in state for some time, and then, as I say, it's a carnal house that's at the very base of this. Typically, if there's not a grave site or a mausoleum that somebody will be placed into, they'll be placed into here. It's kind of a pauper's destination, and you know that it's kind of a large one because this is Freetown. The other thing about it as well is that it doesn't matter of your station. If it's believed that for some reason you will rise again as an undead, you will end up going in there, whether you like it or not. Whether it's your last wishes or not, your corpse will be thrown in there. You know full well that things don't get out. However, you're not going down to that substructure, down to that 5th basement. For one thing, the only person who's qualified to go down there is Farewell. You go to the 1st basement, and this is quite a nice place. It's quiet. Clerics are walking past. As they do so, they give very friendly greetings to Farewell. He's embraced several times. It's kind of a professional embrace. It's the type that Farewell isn't awkward about. It's a procedural thing. Very much a particular way of doing a greeting to show the love of the goddess to each other. Excuse me. And you go into what seem to be a number of small chapels underneath the temple proper. Farewell knows quite well. Cora probably does as well. Aiden would probably guess it with his background as well, that these are small chapels where you will lie a body in state. People can go there for vigils. Small private services can be placed in there if they don't want to have a larger affair in the temple above. And they're generally quiet, secluded spaces where one can show respect and go through the appropriate measures. These are called Sakta. You get pulled into one of them, and there's a small... excuse me. I've been eating something with coconut in it. Oh dear.
Oh dear. We don't want to be the first. We don't want to be recognized as the first D&D stream where the DM dies on stream.
Yes.
The amount of coffee I've drank today, there's a
We did up on
possibility of a
Reddit.
heart attack, but I'll try to.
Yeah.
So you guys go into the sanctum, and there's 2 rows of 4, an 8-person chorus that is there, and there's some chairs that have just been arranged so that Glory and Aiden can sit in the center of the room, whereas the rest of you can just sit on the other side of the room to the chorus. Glory, Aiden, please take a seat.
All right.
Farewell. Would you wish to join the chorus?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, my head's been elsewhere, but yeah. No, I will.
Okay.
Dusk?
Hey, yes. Go on.
Is there any merit to trying this a second time?
Doubtful, but if you wish, you could try.
I don't know.
I can go with again and try. That would be interesting to say the least. See if we can get anything else.
Please, by all means, we can. There's certainly nothing wrong with connecting with the goddess once again. Even if you don't get anything from it, you will get her benediction.
What do you think, Farewell?
It's a rabbit hole I'm a little scared of looking down, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah.
I don't like what any of this is doing to me. I don't feel like me at the moment. So I'll help with the ritual, but I don't want to try it again, personally.
Okay.
It's
So, farewell takes its place with the chorus. The remaining 4 of you go into the center of the circle. You sit down on chairs that are brought to the center. There was 2, now there's 4. And as you sit, the beautiful, mournful, and calming chorus starts to begin. Farewell himself, his voice as mellifluous as the others, starts to lift up and echo around this small but strangely well acoustically made chamber. And you start to feel yourself calm and calm and calm. Aiden, I would like you to do a luck roll. Just roll a d20 and tell me how much you get.
No, I don't feel confident. 11.
Okay. Sure. You start to feel your heart disappearing as your mind and your soul start to drift away. And at the last minute, you catch yourself going, what? And at that moment, your heart just comes back full volume. And you take a moment to just relax yourself again. And this time you're following the ritual properly. But for a moment, this ritual started you doing that trick that Olivia taught you how to do. Farewell. I would like you to make a charisma saving throw.
Thanks, Simon.
We're all gonna die just doing this ritual.
Yes.
Our lives lie.
Hey, man.
That's a 3.
Blame the die. Blame the die.
So, Farewell, as you're singing, your eyes, just the pupils of your eyes disappear. And you don't know this. You're completely out of it. So for the whole of this encounter now, Farewell is gone. Farewell is singing for the entirety of this ritual. His pupils disappear until his eyes are just 2 white orbs. And unknown to you, Farewell, and the others, thankfully, end up slipping into the ethereal realm before they get to see. But I'm telling you now as players that in Farewell's left hand is a burning obsidian blade.
The number you have dialed has not been recognized. Please hang up and try again. The number you have dialed has not been recognized.
You didn't want to do the ritual because you were worried. Oh, how wrong you might have been.
How right I might have been.
So
shit.
But no one else sees it. So Corinne, Rodrigo, Felicia, you still have no idea this knife exists.
Oh dear.
As the music starts to flow through your body, you look around you, and the entire church starts to disappear. First of all, the people disappear, as if they were never there. Then the structure of the church becomes ghostly until you can barely see it anymore, but you can see it. And all around you is this strange twilight. You're standing on nothingness. And you look around you, and Aiden and Glory are surprised to see an 11-foot angel with 7-foot inky black wings coming out of its back, mantled in either direction, with silver fire pouring out of his eyes, and this dove grey skin. He reaches up to the sky and says, "Glory be to the mistress of the gate. Glory be to the once mortal god, and then looks down upon you, and you just feel this
Oh, why
this
couldn't you been man?
silver. Well, actually, this is a genderless figure, but I'm gonna keep using he for now, because looks
Just use they.
closer to he than she. That I mean, you don't know it's they because you don't know the angel is they. It looks more like he as it stands at the moment. Just a very muscular figure. But this creature is they because these angels have no gender.
Right.
The figure looks down upon you. Why have you come here? Cora and Eclipse, you've been here before, and you've already gone through the process. So if you want to reassure Gloria and Aiden that this is something that's supposed to happen.
Yes, don't worry. This is part of the thing.
Do I have
See
to
if we
fight
can
him?
recover more of our
know that.
memories.
No, don't fight
I
him.
can't do that.
No, don't fight
Well,
him.
you're scary as all shit.
We have come to see if we can recover more of our memories.
Yes, particularly me and her, and I point to Glory.
I can do an insight check.
Oop.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
17.
This is an angel.
17.
I wonder if it
You
will
feel that
dislike
the
me.
angel, they are looking at you more than anybody else.
Oh.
You just have a feel.
That's
It's a bit hard because of the silver fire and silver aurora borealis pouring out of the eyes to see if somebody's eyeballing you, but it definitely looks like they're eyeballing you.
This is concerning.
No, it's fine.
Yes, so if we could get our memories back, that would be lovely.
The angel looks over to Cora and Eclipse and says, "What has been given is all that she can give, unless you have a way of fighting that which holds it back. Have you brought anything new to her? Have you brought anything new to the once living God, that she may grant you more? Or have you done works in her name, that she may call upon the glory that you have shined upon her?"
Not since this morning.
Not since this morning, but this is good knowledge.
The angel appears to ignore you and
We'll
looks at
just
looks at Gloria
My-
and says, "You have yet to get the benediction of the mistress."
My family used to kill a lot of undead
Yes,
back in the day,
we
so
recognize
don't know if that counts.
you will receive what
That-
you shall receive, and then beyond that you either have to gain more of her favor, empower her with the glory and faith within you, or
Right.
find something that you can use, as this is very much a partnership between you and her, born in faith, but is very much an alliance. We know you, we know you.
I turned to Eclipse and Corin just like, I didn't know you could bribe gods.
You just hear Farrell's voice in the back of your head going, "Hey,
Glory,
religion, dude."
Glory, do a wisdom saving throw.
It's gonna be kicked out.
Yeah, so you badmouth the
Excuse me, but
7'8"
that is exactly what it sounded like to her. Wisdom saving. My die disappeared. Let's try that again. Don't. There we go. Okay. It's 16 plus 1. 17.
17. You suddenly feel a searing pain in your eyes, and anybody who can see Glory's face can see black veins creeping through her eyeballs. And she takes a moment to concentrate, and the veins disappear. The angel glares down at you and says, "It is not a bribery of a god. It is a test. A test of faith.
Maybe not insult the gods when we're speaking to the angel.
Says Eclipse.
Yes.
I mean, it works back home.
Eclipse has never insulted anyone.
I'm pretty sure Farewell reprimanded you last time about something you said.
Know me, Glory Tezcatlipoca. I am Moriel the Soul Reaver. Not one to be taken lightly. I am here in service of the goddess.
Can we just...
take. It is my role within her.
I should have
What
gone
do you
with you.
seek?
I really should.
We seek our missing memories.
I guess.
They
Why
reach.
is she picking a fight with a god?
They reach up to the sky and say, "Look upon the face of the goddess, and take what you deserve." I would like both Glory and Aiden to make wisdom saving throws.
Not another one.
That's
Damn it.
Good stat.
Good.
Yeah, just please, for my benefit, stop picking fights with the 8-foot angel.
14.
Yes, who rolled a nat
My roll-
20.
Oh, wow.
14. My rolls are bad today.
Well, 14 is not too bad, actually. I got 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Aiden, things come in flashes. You sat at the table in your room with a dwarven woman, quite grizzled. The whole kind of salty sea dog fashion going on. There's a kind of mixture to the wardrobe of things that she's wearing that were once, I'm sure, very valuable, but have been worn for a long time. Very much this kind of Pirates of the Caribbean style, Treasure Island type of getup. And you're talking quite animatedly with her. You, as far as you get on really well with people, you get on really well with her. She seems to be practical, and you're just talking through the practicalities of this as you're pursuing this weapon. And it seems to be that she's a hunter of sorts as well, in the same way that you are, albeit reluctantly at first, a hunter. She seems to be the type of person that you can get on with. No bullshit. No airs and graces. She doesn't do jokes. She's very much a practical and analytical mind. And so, in juxtaposition to some of the people who have been a little more aloof, a little more playful, she's that mixture of honest, talkative, but only talkative when she has purpose to do so. And the second that she's finished with what she needs to do with you, you know that she goes straight back to her little workshop that she's got on the ship. You're going through lessons on how to use the gun, and you start talking with her about the blood hunter runes, the sigils that are on each of the 6 sides of the barrel. Actually, there's only 4, isn't there? There's 2 that are empty still. And between the 2 of you, you manage to use her runic magic and your blood hunter sigils to come together to make this artifact. She's really interested. She's never done anything like this before. She has made witchlock pistols before, but this is very personal to you. And by the time you've finished, you've gained a friend there, or at least a respectful colleague, I think is probably the best way to put it. It seems to be a place where, for some time, 3 weeks ago, you spent a bit of time just sat down, chilling out. There was no major drama. There was no weird social aspects. You just got on with stuff. You get flashes of you using the gun as well. You switch it to the ghost lantern function of the gun, and you start firing at a target. All you're doing is firing the light spell over and over again. But you realize after a while that it's not necessarily that you're using your dexterity and your eye for it. At one point, you focus really hard on the target and you fire, and you realize last minute that you're pointing the gun very slightly to the left, and the bolt actually corrects and hits true where you want it to. So you kind of get this idea that, yes, you're firing a melee weapon. Sorry, not a melee weapon, a ranged weapon, but you're also casting a spell. The only other thing that you get is the hint, because you didn't roll high enough to get the full, but the hint of a dream. And this feeling, not a voice. There's no way that you could get it, recall a voice that you would remember again if you heard it, but certainly the sensation of words. And that is, come, come, he calls you. He calls you. Come. It's fine. You're safe. Obey. This is your place. This is who you are. Come. Obey. That's what you get.
Concern.
You can't concern. You've got the evil smoke dragon.
He's not evil. Well, he is, but he's a nice boy.
Don't trust like that.
Yes, he is.
Glory, you get a little bit of a montage. So you're going around, you talk to people like Hobra, you recall suddenly speaking to Hobra, getting the family name, and then after that, the way that the montage really starts in anger is you getting a parcel delivered. The second that you look at the parcel, you notice the Skalran post stamp on it. And with a squeak of delight that actually hurts Aiden's ears, previous Aiden, you grab hold of the box and start tearing it open right there in the middle of the tavern, because it's handed to you over the bar. The second you look into the box, and before anybody else can see what's in the box, you look at it, and then with almost like a snake-like quality, you snap the box shut and run up the stairs as fast as your feet can take you. You sit on the bed and take out a note. Looking at the note, it says to you. It's addressed very formally. It has your family's crest on it as well. And the note says, "My dearest Glory, this has been sent to you because recent news of your successes suggests that you should rise. Consider this the first step in your ascension. One day, you too may take the mark, but not today. But this is the first step. It has come to our attention that you're interested in learning how to enchant. This is something that we know well. We have imbued this stone with the ability to do so. You may only learn a process like this once every lunar year. If you do not wish to learn this skill, do not come into contact with the gem within. This gem is a mark of status amongst our family, though you may not have seen many before. It comes with power and a price, and some guidance, but you will know that once you touch it. Be prepared to make your mark. And the mark, where it says mark, it's got a capital M on it. You look at the paper, you smell the paper, and you realize it's vellum. You throw the paper on the floor and flick your fingers, and a small spray of acid makes the vellum disappear. Vellum does this with vinegar, if anybody's seen Angels and Demons. You then reach tentatively into the box, and the second that your fingers close around the stone, this beautiful searing pain goes through your mind. Suddenly, just raw knowledge is etched into your very mind. You hold on to the gem, just staring into space for what feels like hours, and then you collapse on the bed. When you wake up, you're feverish. You're still able to act like yourself, but every spare moment, you're collecting what you need. Gold wire, various other gems. You start sketching over and over and over and over again until you get the perfect design. Something that is definitely glory. You even go as far as to get some charcoal, and you start to sketch on your hand itself how it will look. And you're there just putting your hand up and looking at it to see whether or not it would work in place. Once you're satisfied, you immediately go off to the Green Mansion and ask one of the provisioners there where you would be able to get hold of enchanting supplies. They point out that getting hold of residuum and so on would be quite difficult, and immediately you turn around to them and say that you'll only need a very small amount. You seem to say this with some authority, and they say, okay, you say how much you need, which is only a very, very small amount. I mean, we're talking no bigger than a ping pong ball in size of this glowing gold dust. They agree that they can provide that for you without the need for any extra requisition. They give it to you and point out that ordinarily they would put this into some form of ink for scribing supplies, normally for wizards. And so they've just taken some from the nearest batch that they were going to mix into ink. You take it and ask for the other required tools that you would need for enchantment, an enchantment kit effectively, which also includes a form of table that's been warded so that it's effectively magic neutral. Anything that you put on there isn't going to be enchanted along with the item, so it's not going to leach any of the power from the residuum away. They point out that it'll take a couple of days. You kind of impatiently for you say, yeah, fine, whatever. And they ask where to put it. And you say, the lockup. Send it to the lockup. You know that there's other changes that have been made to it anyway. You wait a couple of days, and for the most of that time you are putting together the jewelry that you now wear on your hand. And you're wiring everything into place, getting closures for the various gemstones, until you get the message that it's ready. At that point, you pretty much live for the next 3 days down in the lockup. You walk in there, and in addition to the stations that have been put there for the other members of your party, you have your own little alcove, which is your little enchantment bay. You walk in there and sit down and start the process of using steels and various kinds of wands and crystals, focusing lenses, and some equipment that looks slightly alchemic, but it's made purely for processing the residuum as you start to enchant your gem. Part of the way through, you access the gem's abilities, and the familiar that you now have around your neck creeps out and introduces themselves for the first time. You're ecstatic, completely ecstatic, and then there's this laughing sound. You being on your own, think, damn it, the game. You turn around and a small demon is there, a dretch, and in a guttural voice and then a sneering laugh, it says something that you don't quite understand, because I don't think you know Abyssal, do you?
Yes, I do.
You do. In that case, it says, Excellence sends his regards. And it launches an attack on you. As it does so, you put the now completed jewelry onto your hand, hold it up, and just empty all of your spells into it. Like a woman possessed, you're just launching spell after spell after spell, blasting this thing with chromatic, acidic orb after acidic orb, and you can just feel the power just being poured out of your blood. The dretch doesn't last very long. You get scarred up a bit, you have to run around a bit in order to fend off its attacks, but sooner or later it's a large stain on the floor. You do notice that you've screwed up many of the floorboards as well, and will have to get them replaced.
Oops.
Oops.
It's at that point that you hear a voice, almost as if it's coming out of the gem. It's a voice that you've only ever heard, well, let's say a handful of times. You've heard this voice before at festival celebrations, but the time that you remember it most clearly was when you were given your name. And in the back of your head, you hear, "Well done, my glorious one."
Oh dear.
We are so fucking ruined.
Oh yes, we are.
Oh my god. Yeah, forget saving the world. We're the ones that fucking doom it.
Yeah.
Probably. We were probably.
We're going to like.
Our memory's gone because somebody wiped them because we were fucking everything up.
Yeah, and they just wanted to get rid of us, and because they're the real good guys, they just erased our memories, thinking that we can't kill them. They're just bumbling idiots. It's not their fault that they got involved. And just like complete numpties, we're going back and doing worse. Christ alive, we are stupid.
As the ritual comes to the end, farewell, you feel your consciousness coming back. You look down to your left-hand side. Thankfully, it's obscured by people for the most part. And you see that you're holding the blade. I presume that immediately you let it go?
Well, I think the first question I'd be like is, why is that my left hand? I'm right-handed. And then it would... Which is a fair question. You'd be like,
you're not right-handed anymore. You're left-handed. Well,
so
you're an evil twin.
Yeah, well, for a guy like Farewell, who's to a fault obsessed with the minutiae of detail, that would be something that would go through his head. Like, what?
Something is not quite right here.
Yeah. In this case,
and then the fact
because
that
the DM did not know which hand Farewell used, so it appeared in.
One assumes that Simon is left-handed and I'm right-handed. Which
yes.
Is
yes. Sinister.
Yeah, and no, I don't think he would drop it. As for him, what would terrify is because it's not been on fire before.
Oh, it's surrounded by the black kind of smoky energy. I say it's on fire. It's emitting the black energy.
Oh.
So it's just as it normally would be.
That's not as fun.
Yeah.
I was about to say, because like being on fire is definitely something new. At which point he would then look at it if it was just in his hand as it normally would be, and sort of just go.
Does
and
Gloria remember anything from trying to after the 1 week? Is my question.
No.
Oh yeah.
No, she doesn't.
Even with a natural 20.
Yep. Even on a natural 20. Largely
That
because
is
it's not
good
based
knowledge.
on this roll, it's based on a roll that she made during the time that she forgot.
Sure.
She rolled a 3.
This is next level D&D where your character are making rolls without the players being aware that the characters are making rolls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You thought you were in control, but you were not.
Were we ever?
We're
You
not
guys
in
come to
control even when we are in
consciousness
control.
And you're all back in the room. Dusk walks
Well,
up
I'm never
and says,
doing that again.
That was illuminating.
Really?
That was awful.
So, what did you guys remember?
I remember that I hang out, and did almost nothing for a few weeks, and that I trained with a gun. That's about it.
I
remember the Excellence's last assassination attempt.
Really? What?
Yeah, apparently he tried to kill me the first week. Sent the demon and all. It was best fight he's put up in a long while. Like, I was starting to worry about him. He was regressing.
You fought a demon?
Apparently.
Wow.
It didn't
you
really
okay?
stand up to the acid, so it's fine. Everything's fine. And I remember how I made this. And she, like, just shows off her lovely bracelet.
Oh. Well,
Right.
that's good.
Yes.
That's something.
Yes.
Aiden, who did you say you talked to someone? Who was that? Maybe we can talk to them.
It's whoever made the gun, but apparently
Who it was.
Bloodwind, Blood Axe, I think.
Oh, the
Oh.
Chuckleman person.
That's why
Yeah.
we were asking about them, I guess.
Yeah. Yes.
And you know that she's going to be back in the city tomorrow.
Oh yeah, she'll be back in the city tomorrow, so we can probably press her for more questions. Then, from what I understood, we were on good, like at least I was on good terms with her. So
Well, that's
yeah,
good. You can do all the talking then.
I rather not.
Okay, well that's something. We've got Bloodwind to talk to, and yeah, and I need to talk to Lysandra, and who else needs to talk to people?
Well, my trainer has already left because he got my information, so I don't really have that many. I mean, I can ask if I accepted a contract, like, with my bounty hunter friends when we went on this mission.
What about those archaeology guys you were talking to
that's
beforehand?
it. Yes, those. Thanks for reminding me.
Maybe you talk to them more about the
Yes.
tomb and stuff.
Yes,
the
my
European mystery.
yes.
Oh,
said I've been so busy.
Oh crap! I just realized we totally. Well, maybe we didn't. We didn't go to.
No!
Well, technically we did.
We
but
might have.
We just don't remember.
Well, maybe we should go talk to them.
I think we need to make sure we went to the concert. We did say we would.
You guys don't remember it, so I don't remember how you reacted, which is just.
I hate to be that person, but priorities.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm fine with priorities, but
we need to visit.
I mean, we've had some shit. We needed that fun, and we didn't get it, and I'm pissed off with that. And maybe they know what happened. Maybe there was a bar fight or something. I don't know. Something might have happened. We should go find out. That's another contact. That's all I'm saying.
Are you just looking for an excuse to go?
By the way.
Yes.
What?
Besides, I think we all need a drink.
Oh, not Aiden. I didn't. No.
I don't.
What were
need
you about
a drink.
to say, Aiden?
No, I was about to ask Simon. Before I burned the letter, do I remember when was I supposed to meet Hector?
3 days, if I remember correctly.
The date is 3 days from now.
Okay.
So today I think is the 16th of Hearthfire, so it would be the 19th of Hearthfire.
Right. Okay, 3 days. Not looking forward to that.
By the way, Simon, there is something we have not discussed yet. You said I remembered my little guy's introduction.
Yeah,
you still haven't told me his name. You still haven't told me his name.
That's because you. One thing you do notice from your backstory, and also I put this in for the player, is that you haven't yet been able to find a fabulous enough name to name him.
There we go. Thank you.
That makes sense.
And by the way, when you come out of the ritual, your familiar turns around and says, "Mistress, I remember now."
As do I.
Alright, I kinda don't want to be around Glory anymore, so I'm.
You don't hear this. This is all in her head.
Yeah,
I know, but
but we do, Simon. We hear it, and it creeps us out.
yeah.
I don't get why you're so scared of everything that has to do with Glory's background.
I don't know if it's that. I think it's just Simon's voice doing that, doing that creature. It freaks me out.
At some point, you need to play Call of Cthulhu with me, Kate. Anyway.
Oh God.
Oh god. Yes. Oh, and I assume Aiden's sober now because he went through the ritual.
He is.
No. Aiden is the correct level of drunk.
Oh.
I needed to be kind of drunk to be able to do this.
Remember, the true restoration spell restores you to who you are supposed to be according to your identity. Aiden identifies with a certain level of drunk, and that is the exact level of drunk that he is right now.
It is part of his story.
So,
Well, it's
our
getting.
drunk.
It's getting. Imagine it's already pretty like late in the night by
late.
now.
Yep, it's very late.
Yeah, so let's head back.
I want a nap.
Okay.
I'm hungry.
Yes, that too.
You go back to the Hawk and Harness, and you're greeted like family. Noki, a little warmer than usual, suddenly lays down food, and he personally lays out the table in front of you, talks to you all, gets to know you a lot better than previously. It's mostly small talk, but it's kind of welcome after the discombobulation of your current situation. He seems to be a nice constant, you know? He seems to be something that you can deal with right now. He doesn't ask anything of you. He doesn't complicate the enigma that surrounded your life now. And he doesn't seem to bring it up, even though he very much knows it. I mean, you know, word's gone around a bit now that you guys have come back with some form of debilitation, that you've been attacked in some way and affected in some way. You can tell this by the look of sympathy on some of the Green Organization's face. It's only the people from the Green Organization, though, and you have a feeling they've been told to shut up about it, or they haven't been told enough information, only that you guys need to be given a wide berth because you've been through it. Maybe you just had some rough fights and just need to recover. Who knows? But Noki just acts like Noki. Just a regular guy, here to make sure that your living conditions are as they're supposed to be. Unless there's anything particular you want to talk to him about, you guys eat, rest up a bit, listen to the bard, and then when it's time for you to go, you all go to sleep. Anything you'd like to do before then?
Depends. Are we up to role-playing some small talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like after a long day, like, hold on, did we literally beamed in this morning, right?
Yeah.
We have not slept yet.
No.
So I feel like, yeah, we probably would, even though if we'd be absolutely shattered, but I feel like we then need to kind of chill and talk and things. So yeah. I think we would.
Farewell is most definitely buried in his book right about now.
I am drinking.
Okay.
We all have our vices.
So what Eclipse is doing is when I just stop looking, she's like with her glass. She's just here's the thing, and she goes. So you know the cat thing when I just go.
Are you just secretly pouring out alcohol and pouring in water or something?
No, I'm like pushing off the table.
Oh, what, you're just doing that?
You're like,
Yeah.
you're like,
asshole thing.
yeah.
Every now and again, there's a sound of breaking. No, it's not breaking glass because he would have given you goblets. So yeah, every now and again you just hear a goblet go ting 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 to the floor, Aiden cursing slightly, Noki just patiently walking up, using prestidigitation to dry up the floor, using mending to get the dent out of the goblet, pouring more wine on it and putting it towards the center of the table, and walking up again without a second word.
And eventually would have fallen off the table again.
Yeah.
And the cycle never ends.
No.
Yes.
I'm really glad that I have Corinne as a flatmate, because I would kill Eclipse if she was my flatmate. Right. Anything you want to do before bed?
You
Well,
go on.
well, while lying in bed, I'll be talking to my little guy, but
Excuse you.
yeah.
Her
My little
dragon.
gorgeous dragon boy.
I think Farewell will probably be the last one to go to bed. So,
Okay.
So,
he will be up for a bit.
so I know this day has been very, very weird
Shit.
and stressful
Yeah,
for all
bad.
of us.
Yeah, it's been a pretty bad day.
It's been
I'll
shit.
admit, I was worried about the ritual. It's why I didn't want to go through it the first time.
Why
You
are
picked
you
a-
worried?
You picked a fight with the big angel thing, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
much.
you might, yeah.
To be
But that
honest,
was not it. I
kinda
wasn't
almost.
expecting a big angel, dude.
We told you there was a big angel.
Woman, but
Yeah.
not the big angel, dude.
What were you gonna say, Aiden?
I was gonna say in Glory's defense, which makes me vomit when I say those words. I almost kind of caught a fight with Angel Dude as well.
What's wrong with you people? It's an 8-foot celestial being with a
Yes?
giant flaming sword.
Yes?
Why would you want to fight that?
For the
I
glory?
think Glory thought that that was the ritual to battle it.
Yes. I thought that was the test.
Glory, we told you it wasn't.
Yeah.
I just
But he was big and had a flaming sword. If he
that
was a
screams-
diplomatic angel, then why would he have a big flaming sword?
Symbolism.
I just don't trust. I don't trust beings like that.
It's.
Don't trust it.
Do they teach you nothing about scripture?
No.
No. I
Not
was taught how to
exactly.
fight, how to throw acid, how to throw bigger acid, how to throw more dangerous acid, how to kill people in the arena, how to do diplomatic talks, how to play the game.
That's
I think that's
question.
someone else.
Does the
Glory.
training. Gone.
I'm just wondering when the diplomatic talks begin and the fighting end. Like, does the fighting come first and then you diplomatically talk, or do you try diplomatic talk and it doesn't?
depends
If
on
it fails, you throw acid.
Yes, both.
Okay.
Sometimes you fight first and then talk, but more often than not, you talk and then it goes bad and you just kill them because that's easier.
Okay.
It's not just kind of tonal whiplash, like death, talking, death.
Well, we have to learn how to control the acid because, like, after the first few walls have been melted during a fever, it's just annoying.
You're infinitely terrifying. I mean that in
Father said
the
that
least offensive way that I can think of, but just
I'm
wow.
Besides, I got
Well,
my
I mean-
fighting training because that is what I was favored for. I was strong
Well-
in magic.
Right.
If-
What are you gonna say, Aiden?
Farewell means it with no offense, but I mean it with all the offense. You're fucked up, and the farthest away from you I am, the happier I am. So, good night, everybody.
Night, Aiden. We like you too.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that the more surly he is, the nicer, the more that he likes us.
That
I hope that's the way it is.
Well, I mean, he'd probably be a lot nicer if you stopped throwing his drink on the floor.
Probably.
He hasn't topped me off yet.
I think it'll get to the point where he'll just shoot you. and I am not with. Well, that's a lie. I will, but there will be a limit to how many times that I stitch that up.
Have you noticed, Mr. Clips, that every time you do knock his goblet on the floor, he has a twitch on the finger on his right hand? It's the trigger finger, if you have not guessed.
But he hasn't shot me yet.
I think the key word in that sentence would be yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I am disappointed. This day has not given us the answers that I hoped. We've been at this for like almost, 15, 16 hours, and we figured out
we have
a
pieced
week.
together 1 week. I mean, we were missing, 3 weeks? How many days is that? That is 14 plus 7. That is 21? Yes.
You have
21
1/3
days.
of your memories back within 15 hours then. I would say that's fairly good progress.
well,
Yeah.
Glory does. The rest of us are a bit more vague.
So not
Yes,
quite a
but
third.
can you forget roughly
Still
what
fairly
we
good
did?
progress, I would say.
Considering I got the most memories back from the ritual, I think fighting the angel was the right choice.
You
You
didn't
fought an
fight the
angel?
angel. You didn't
No.
fight the angel. You
No.
insulted an angel, and
You
he almost
insulted
killed
the
us.
angel?
Yes! It was hilarious. Well, I didn't mean to offend it, but he was saying these things of how you had to find valuable things to the goddess, and I was like, I didn't know goddesses could be bribed, and he got angry at it.
Noki looks at Farewell
That
with a
is
look
what
of
a
something
bribe
that might explode.
I suddenly feel like 10 years too old for all of this.
How old was Farrell? Is it like Farrell like 20?
He's 27.
Oh,
27 going on
so he's
60.
2 years older than Glory.
He's like, please don't piss off my god.
I try not to.
We get on very well, but I mean, it's a literal god.
I'm not doing it on purpose. I can try to be nicer next time if you want me to.
Please,
Yes.
I would very much appreciate it if you don't either try and melt divine sort of messengers, giant angels, anybody that happens to be wearing the same robes unless I do it first, and generally otherwise offend anything that relates to sort of my god.
Okay, but
I love
it's fine
the
if
caveat,
it's
unless I do
another
it
god.
first.
Well, I've got a character. You never know. You might find around with some guy that's just a complete asshole where you're just like, this fucker needs melting. Yeah, I guess you're right. 15 odd hours where, we find out a week's worth of stuff out of 3 is not terrible. It's just... And no, I just felt we would be further along and we'd have more answers nowhere to go, and
Well, we have some things to check out.
How
And
do
while
we
I would
know?
love to look into that Delirium trade, but
Delirium.
I've been playing Dragon Age.
Yeah,
I was thinking Delirium.
Enchanter thingy what was
Residium.
Residium, yes.
Enchantment! Enchantment!
I have to
And
confess,
so
when I wrote down the red Residuum storyline, I completely forgot that there was a red Lyrium storyline in Dragon Age.
Yes.
So
Yes.
It's a big fucking deal in Dragon Age.
oh yeah, it's a huge deal in Dragon Age, but it just goes to show how long it's been since I've played the damn game.
Enchantment!
But yes, that can happen after we figure out these 2 weeks.
To be honest with you, I don't think we're going to figure out the 2 weeks here. We weren't even in this city for those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think the only way that we're going to find out what went on is if we leave, and we go.
We try and retrace our steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could
shit.
do that tomorrow if you wish to.
Well, what I was thinking was we probably don't want to do it in. Actually, hold on. I'm almost dangerously metagaming there. Did we know, about somebody showing up in the next day or two, or only Aiden knows that?
We know about the blood one, because Aiden just said it in character earlier, but we don't know about the one in 3 days.
Yeah, so you know the Bloodwind Bloodaxe is going to be turning up tomorrow, but you don't know that Hector is coming in 3 days' time.
Okay, I would say that we speak with Bloodaxe.
I would
And
speak
at least
to Victor and Rita, and I lost my notes, so I can't remember the name of the
10 minutes, everybody.
the wizard.
I would say once we've spoken
The
with
wizard.
Bloodaxe, Eclipse can go and do that. I want to go to see this guy's room in that tavern, so I think I'm going to go do that.
Okay, you're going to go to
and then maybe after that, unless we can find anything else we need to do, I think it's time we pack up and we leave the city and we go find this grave and I talk to some corpses. What do you think?
Yes.
I'd like to stop by the university and see if I can borrow some books on enchanting. I want to look up some protection runes. Might be a good idea to see what we can do, or what I can do.
Makes sense. I mean, what I understand is going to take 5 days to get there, so you might as well be doing something in the 5 days worth of travel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guys, we have 9 minutes left. Would you like me to give you a bit of an outro as you guys go to sleep?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
I just want to say, thank you. I just want to say one thing before we go to sleep. One, I kind of would say, but like, I don't know if farewell, if everyone sort of leaves and farewell sort of I'm going to be quite long as well. And because I'm like, farewell, what if we go to sleep and we wake up 3 weeks later again?
I will not stand in your way if you want to burn the tavern down. All joking aside. Sorry, I'm trying the humor
You'd be
thing.
off to glory.
Graham.
She will melt it.
Grandpa always used to say that humor helps in times of difficulties.
No, it's true. It's good. I mean, what answer was I looking for, really? Anyway.
I've always believed in that I can only deal with the here and now. What tomorrow brings is what tomorrow brings.
True.
My worry is what sleep brings. You saw those
Yeah.
paintings. And I have a big scary knife that I inadvertently, and I don't know why, a scary, weird lich thing gave it to me whilst I went on this spirit journey to find myself. And now I'm stuck in the middle of somewhere where I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, you're not the only one.
I know.
Anyway.
I know. Go on, go to bed. I'll be up in a moment.
Okay.
I just need to finish writing down what's gone on today, and hopefully no one will cut it out this time.
Okay.
By the way, out of character, Nick, I'm gonna give you a thing that we can't do anymore, but in case it happens again, that we missed, that you could have done, because you've written on the page now, is you could have taken a pen and lightly gone over it to see what the last page was.
Yeah, but that would only give me the last page.
Yes,
not the this much that was missing from the book.
Yes, but in the last page,
What was the last page? Was
that'll be like
pissing me off again.
Yeah. Eclipse is gonna wake up with that thought, going, "Don't shit."
Very good.
Cora's gonna head up to her room, but for curiosity's sake, she's not gonna open her door. She's gonna use the cloak and jump through.
Sure. Yeah, you walk up to it and kind of, you're thinking, well, how does it work? And the second that you think, how does it work, you just go, I just will it to happen. And is Cora the type of girl who will close her eyes as she goes through the door, or is she an eyes open person?
I'm gonna say for this time, because she's not sure how it works, and she also is on edge, and so she's a bit like, what if someone's in my room? And that was like, so she's, because there was clothes in her room that didn't fit her, so she's not sure if someone's gonna be there waiting for her and stuff. So she's probably a bit like,
Sure.
So yeah, let's go guys, go eyes open, see what happens.
You jump through the door. Roll for no. No, it's just your room. You do notice that as you jump through the material, so does your familiar. So Eowyn flies through and she goes, it attunes to me too.
Huh. Oh, it's so strange.
There is.
She flies down to the bedside table where the broken music box is and starts to rearrange the pieces into what you can see as like a little sprite campsite. Almost like she's arranging the pieces like furniture.
It's a shame that broke.
Okay.
Okay.
Just before I go to bed, Simon, there is something I want to spend like just 10 minutes doing.
We have 4,
okay.
and I have some questions for you as you go to bed, but carry on.
Basically, I want to ritually cast Augury, even if that's how you spell it. Augury?
Yeah, Augury. Yeah.
Yeah. And basically, Farrell will reach into his pouch and he'll pull out these what look like finger bones that have all got different sort of runes and sort of markings on them. And the question that he's going to ask is, will leaving the city find us the right answers? And then he will toss them down on the table and see if he can get his answer.
So I believe this is the one that is it the one with the yes or no answer, or the wheel and woe answer?
Wheel and woe, or nothing.
Okay. Right answers. Right answers. How do you define right answers? I'm going to go with wheel and woe.
that. He'll just sort of look at that and go, yeah, that's what I thought. And gather it all up and go to bed.
With augury, it's normally you have to give quite a
Specific question.
Question, yeah. And ordinarily you ask, what will the outcome of a particular action be? So just, what if I go over there? It's a bit vague. So yep, okay, that's fine. So there's a few questions I'm going to have to ask first. So actually, the first one isn't a question. Cora, as you're getting changed for bed, you do notice that there are some marks on your legs, and you take a closer look, and these are saddle sores. Now, you know that halflings do suffer sitting in full-size saddles, as do gnomes. And bearing in mind, this is the day that you came to consciousness, you take a look at these, and they don't seem to be days old. They seem to be fresh. So that should be a little something for you. Okay. Farewell. Are you sleeping in your bed or in your bath?
He's had a rough day, so he's going to go for the bed. He's looking for a bit of comfort rather than sort of... he's trying something new rather than his usual sort of...
Okay.
Good for his posture.
Good to know. I don't need to know anything for Eclipse. And Aiden, what I need to know from you is, where are you keeping your gun?
In a locked safe like every other responsible owner.
Underneath your pillow. We can't hear you.
Muted.
Shit! I forget.
You're back.
I forget.
Not the only one. Yay!
I do want to say, like, as much as I want to say, like, safe, locked up and safe like a responsible person, because that's the logical thing. I don't know if he would do that.
This is Aiden, no.
Yeah.
This is Aiden.
He probably leaves it on the side of the table. He leaves it with probably somewhere near where he leaves his sword, because it's a weapon.
So maybe hung up in the holster. So you take like your belts off, and your belt would have your sword holster and your gun holster, and so you just take off the belts in general, which is just like a cross belt, and then maybe hang it up on a peg, say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that. Yeah. And Glory, are you going to sleep wearing your focus?
Yes. She's not taking that off.
Okay. Good to know, because then I can very quickly, it's 11 o'clock now, this will only take a few minutes, as I...
Do you want to know what my lash knife is?
No, I don't care.
It's because she's using it in the middle of a room again, regardless of what Nucky's told her. She's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
No, all the questions that I'm giving is it's a pointed question because of what I'm about to say. It is 11 now, but this is only going to take a few minutes.
Okay.
So, first of all, Cora, where normally you can sometimes have quite disturbing dreams, you sleep incredibly well. Farewell, you don't. So, the dreams, first of all, you slip into sleep, and it starts off okay, but then all of a sudden you start to get a general feeling of anxiety in your dream state. Then you can hear this kind of strange, almost tinnitus sound on the edge of your perception. The tinnitus starts to be a slightly shrill sound. The shrill sound starts to take a form, and it's people not shouting but screaming. This kind of unearthly wail of the undead starts to surround you, and it seems that they are wailing, screaming, shrieking in chorus. I would like you to make a perception check.
Oh, good. At least something I'm all right at.
Roll that one. Roll that one. Roll that one.
You've been very mean to me tonight. You'll be happy to know it is not far off a 1. But as I am a fucking perception machine, it comes out at a 15.
15.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. So you realize that the shrieking, the screaming, is all the same pattern over and over again. So you focus on it, and as you're focusing on it, almost like a blurry image coming into sharper focus, what you're hearing or perceiving in your head, at least as a form of sound, starts to get clearer and clearer and clearer, and they start screaming the same word over and over again, which doesn't make sense because previously when you heard this type of shrieking, it was shrieking your name. Now it's shrieking a different name, and it's saying again, and well, I say it, they are screaming again and again and again, Simon, Simon, which is odd because it's my name, but they're shrieking again, Simon, 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 and they're reaching out to you. Not only can you see these general outlines, darkness upon darkness, of these humanoid forms, mostly you can just see the bulbous tops of heads, but there's a general sense of limbs reaching out to you, and they're going, Simon, 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 and as they're reaching out to you, you realize that they're trying to touch you. Even though you don't have a perception of distance, this is just darkness, nothingness. There's no direction, there's no distance, but you can feel that somehow, even in this distantless form, they're finding a way of getting closer to connect with you. And this is where you have to make a choice, whether or not you allow them to touch you. Don't make the decision now. That will be next session.
Right, Kate, you need to do something, man, because you're just stood in the corner and you're laughing so hard, it's putting me off.
Sorry, I just decided that, like, DM Simon is telling us that the real baddie of this whole story is him. Like, it's just, it's so meta. It's just like, oh my god, the worlds collide.
The plot of the story is
Plus, he wants to touch you, and we've talked about consent.
the
Not for a
plot of,
Okay, Eclipse. You have a good night's sleep. Congratulations.
I have a massively more slashed up room.
I'm scared.
I asked you where your gun was.
Oh
It's
dear.
important because you wake with a start. Just this sudden moment where you wake up and you perceive a danger that's nearby. You know the direction that it's in. It's near. You can feel its face. It's almost like its eyes are burning into you. And immediately you reach out and your gun is in your hand. You turn and fire. And this ghostly fire just erupts along one wall of your bedroom. Even though you've got the papers that have been placed on the wall, the fire sears across it, not burning the paper. You know this is a different type of fire. You've seen this type of fire before. There's a reason why it's blood hunter sigils. The fire lights up the room, or at least for you it does. And you look around. There's no one there. Adrenaline pouring through your body. You suddenly look at the gun in your hand, and you see the holster about 20 foot away. I'm going to pilot Aiden because it's not that important what he does here. You put the gun kind of near you. Should you need it, you can grab it again, although apparently distance wasn't a problem last time. And you just lie in bed. It's been an exhausting day, a harrowing day.
Sure has.
And so despite the adrenaline going through your body, call it maybe the wine, but sleep finds you once more. And it's at that point that you drift into this form of sleep, and you don't know if it's the memory of that voice that you heard, beckoning you to come, beckoning you to obey, beckoning you to some form of service. But whether it's the memory or if it's the voice coming back, you're dwelling upon it in your sleep. And it's at that point that you start to feel that maybe you're somewhere else, that the dream is taking you into some sort of scenario. You can feel cobbles under your feet. You can feel the wind on your skin. You can feel your skirts around your knees. You can feel your long hair cascading down your back. You look to the left and people are looking at you. Night folk. This is the city that doesn't sleep, and they're looking at you strangely, but you're looking at them vacant. You keep going. You almost stumble and you look down and see something that Aiden doesn't normally see, a female figure. Well, you see them, but not as your own body. And then, correcting yourself, you keep going. You notice that the pace that you're taking is almost clockwork. Step, step, step. Bare feet on cobbles. Step, step. You can feel it. The clothing that you're wearing, it's thin, like maybe some sort of nightdress. You weren't quite sure what you saw in the moment when you looked down. Step, step. More people looking at you strangely, avoiding you. You can feel that the movements as you're moving, they're robotic, as if against your will, something that you've been bidden to do. But there's a small amount of sensation, a small amount of control that you do have. Step, step. Definitely the steps are short, reluctant, but there seems to be, as reluctant as they are, no way of stopping them. At that point, as you're breathing, you find that your bottom lip is quite close to your teeth, and you take the moment to just drive through that one moment of willpower, and you bite hard into your lip, the blood flowing into your mouth and down your throat. And at that point, you say something. Aiden, help. Your throat closes up, not allowing you to say another word. Violently, almost as if it's a punishment, almost as if something has put their hand around your throat. Step, step. You wake up and you know exactly where Olivia is in the city. She's been controlled against her will, and you're the only person who knows where she is.
Dun, dun, dun.
Glory.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You stand in a very familiar surrounding. It's in this room that you had your name. It was given to you by Frania. At that time, a glorious, large black dragon. Not so now. You watch as this giant dragon is shrinking down into a humanoid form. And he turns into a very beautifully dressed, black-scaled skinned tiefling, looking very much like a member of your family, with these two yellowed horns cresting over his head. He steps forward, almost sashaying with his body language, almost flirtatious, taunting, very much the embodiment of one of your family members. Two figures, one tiefling, one drow, walk up beside him in robes that you know very well. They are the robes of the Black Dragon Acolyte. One is a female figure, and that's the tiefling. And you recognize that as your aunt. I think it's your aunt that's the High Priestess?
Yeah.
Yes.
Aunt Ideal, if I remember correctly.
Yep, Aunt Ideal, that's it. I remembered it was Ideal, I couldn't remember her relation to you. The one on the other side is a male drow, and both of them are wearing these robes that seem to be showing that they're not wearing a great deal underneath. You know that in some rituals they have to bathe in certain decoctions, arcane mixtures, to imbue them with extra powers. Frania steps forward and says, "My glorious one." The growl still coming through in his humanoid form. "Keep going, keep growing, and one day you should become like them." There's a moment as the drow opens up his robe, showing that he's bare-chested underneath, and you can see as this green outline under his skin shows the mark of the black dragon flight. These are Frania's Kinsguard. They have a form of blood bond with Frania himself. It is said that the Tezcacotls are actually descended from Frania. You always thought it was poetry. But if true, it's possible that he can bestow his blood blessing upon you, if you ever earn it. However, few people in your family do. Okay, so both Iden and Farewell have something that they need to react to. Glory has basically a public service announcement for one. Cora and Eclipse get a decent night's sleep. I'll get Farewell to roll for exhaustion in the morning. And that is the end of this session.
Yay!
So much stuff.
Thank you very much for bearing with us for an extra quarter of an hour. It's good to wrap things up and get everybody thinking for the next session. If you can support the people who we support, we have geekyclean.com. Go there. They're fantastic. They've got great stuff. I have actually recorded a video with some of the goodies that I've recently purchased. So I'll be adding that at some point to the start of the stream when I'm setting up everything else. But I need to do some video editing first. Look up Ren the Girl with the Mark, and that's at www.rentheseries.com. And also, please follow our artists. Please follow at Rattlesire, Leanne P. French, at Pian Lee French. No, Leanne, no, I got that right. Leanne P. French, that's right. And I'm not going to go through the list, but they're in the notes below us, in the stream info. And also, if you go and rewatch this, it's in the lovely GIF that Felicia made for me. So thank you very much, everybody. We will see you all next week. Assuming that we don't do any streams over the weekend for gaming and so on. It's been great to.
I'm not going to be there next week.
Oh yes, very true, very true.
But I will see you all in a couple of weeks.
Yes. So Cora's going to go off and do a little bit of investigation, and Kate is going to go off and do an improv show, which is a murder mystery.
Murder mystery improv. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Although I'm not doing Friday, so if anyone's in the Cambridge region and doesn't want to miss this show, come on the Saturday. Hey.
What's the playhouse?
The playrooms. Yes, Corpus Playrooms near the the Arts Theatre. Yeah. Come have a watch. It should be fun. It's improv, so who knows?
I must admit, I'm fascinated by improv murder mystery. I really want it to be as improv as some of my old one-shots were, where I had no idea what the story was and I was just going to go with it and think of something on the spot. I really love the idea of improv where we don't know who did it, and neither do the actors. They're just going to make up who the killer was on the spot.
Is it
the audience decides, so
Brilliant.
we don't know until the audience tells us.
Isn't role playing just like involve improv with dice rolls?
Yes.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh,
improvised acting with random dice.
Yeah.
Is what I've said to my work colleagues.
Yeah. Acting, of course, a big part of role playing, and it's where I get to scratch my acting itch is during role playing. So yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, and we will see you next week. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.